Hello everyone. Welcome to the Digitech Dialogue. I am Arpit Gupta. The Digitech Dialogue series is an initiative of ET Government, the Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officials give an insight of digital innovations and use of technologies by their department or ministry. Today, on behalf of ET Government, the Economic Times, I welcome Mr. Rajat Bansal, Collector and District Magistrate of Bastar District in Chhattisgarh State. He is our esteemed guest for today's show, the Digitech Dialogue. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you and have you on today's show, Mr. Bansal.
Good afternoon, Arpit. Thank you.
Let me share with our audience, Mr. Rajat Bansal is a 2012 batch IAS officer of Chhattisgarh cadre and currently serving as the Collector and District Magistrate of Bastar District. Prior to this, he served as the Collector and District Magistrate of Dhamtari District of Chhattisgarh. He has also served as Municipal Commissioner of Raipur Municipal Corporation and Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Raipur Smart City Limited. He has also served as Chief Executive Officer of Jila Panchayat Surajpur and SDM of Rajnandgaon and Assistant Collector of Raigad. Mr. Bansal holds a Bachelor of Engineering Honours degree in Computer Science Engineering from the prestigious Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. He got selected in UPSC examination in his first attempt in 2011 and allotted IPS. Some of his notable initiatives in Chhattisgarh are More Raipur in Raipur, Dhana Dhamtari in Dhamtari, and Amcho Bastar in Bastar. I once again welcome you, Mr. Rajat Bansal, and all the audience.
Thank you, Arpit.
Let's begin the conversation. My first question to you, Mr. Bansal, is Bastar has a great opportunity for development. How are you ensuring sustainable development of Bastar? Can you please share your initiatives in various sectors, including sports, education, healthcare in Bastar? Over to you.
Again, thank you, Arpit, for such a warm welcome. Thank you, ET, for having me here on this platform. Bastar, as you know, is basically the southern land of Chhattisgarh, which is bordered by a number of states of the south and Odisha. Bastar, sadly, unfortunately, has been identified and has been known for the violence that is often perpetuated in the southern Chhattisgarh because of the left-wing extremism problem. But the way we see it, the way the district administration Bastar is going forward is to transform Bastar in terms of the healthcare, in terms of sports facilities, educational facilities, and the other facilities which are related to the common people. And we are trying to give the best infrastructure as well as human resource available to the people of Bastar so that this area can then redefine itself and redefine the positioning that he has, the kind of identity that Bastar has had, not from the violence perspective, but from the cultural perspective. Bastar is a land which is rich in tribal culture. So we are trying to do a lot of initiatives which will promote this tribal culture and also promote tourism. As you know, Bastar, Jagdalpur has recently been connected to the airline facility. Now we are in the aviation map of India. Hyderabad and Raipur are just one flight away from Jagdalpur. They are taking advantage of this and trying to use the flight and the newfound connectivity to increase the scope in the tourism sector, in the cultural promotion sector, in all the other sectors which are related to social service. As you asked, some specific initiatives, if you want me to enunciate upon, maybe in education, we just had the 24-hour library inaugurated. So where Bastar is known for sort of a violence or an image that makes it sound that Bastar is not so safe. At the same time, our children are here studying for 24 hours in the heart of Jagdalpur city. So that is the kind of image that we are looking for. Also, in terms of sports, we are making sports academies at different sectors because, as you know, the tribal children have unique caliber in terms of athletics, in terms of archery. So we are making world-class facilities here so that their talent can then get channelized in a proper way. They get the right guidance at the right time, and we can then translate that into achievements at national and international level. Also, under the guidance of Honorable Chief Minister, we are trying to make Bastar the tribal capital of India, and not just India, the world. So the Bastar identity, the tribal identity of Bastar is unique in a lot of ways, and somehow it has taken a backseat in the so many years of development. So we are trying to make it come forward, and we are trying to make the people of Bastar identify with their tribal heritage in a pride manner so that they feel proud that they are a tribal of Bastar, and they feel proud about their traditional heritage. So that is something which we are looking forward to. We have also launched Amcho Bastar Tourism, under which we'll offer very nice exclusive packages for tourists with experiences which they cannot find anywhere else. For example, Arpit, if you will give us some time, we'll want to take you around in Bastar and make you stay in some of our tribal homestays, and you'll get to live and eat the same things as our tribal brothers and sisters eat, and you'll have a crazy experience which you'll probably not have anywhere else in India. So those type of exclusive tourism activities also are some that we are taking forward.
Mr. Bansal, once we cannot think about having English medium schools in Bastar, and now you are also opening English medium schools. Can you please share your plans?
That is very much true. We have started work on 7 English medium schools. And it was an idea when it came from the Honorable Chief Minister. It was an idea which was very challenging. It sounded very challenging at first. But right now, you'll not believe that the number of seats we have, there are continuous demands from all sorts of parents that the number of seats should be increased. And we are now looking at a problem of plenty. So that is a kind of an issue that we are facing, and the response is very good. The infrastructure that we have made in these English medium schools is very good. We have hired better, good teachers from various fields. Also, we have taken new teachers from the free market so that they are able to supply the kind of demand that we are having here. And definitely this one initiative will take Bastar leaps and bounds forward.
And we have seen government's initiative like Padhai Tuhar Dwar in the times of COVID to inculcate education among the students of Chhattisgarh. Mr. Bansal, you recently talked about the sports activities that you are planning for Bastar. Bastar is actually full of natural resources and beautiful places like Chitrakoot waterfall. So how are you planning to actually promote ecotourism, adventure tourism and adventure sports in the vicinity of Bastar?
Arpit, as you mentioned, Padhai Tuhar Dwar is an initiative which the government started so that the children of Bastar and the whole state do not lose out from education in the times of pandemic when offline classes were not possible. One notable initiative I would like to mention in this platform is Amcho Bastar Radio. Some of our teachers were innovative themselves, and because a lot of Gram Panchayats did not have mobile network, so smart classes were not a practical feasibility there. So they installed loudspeakers, the chongas that we call in the local languages, and then they installed them in the chalks. And from there, they started imparting lectures and classes so that while the teacher sits in the Gram Panchayat or a teacher records it in Jagdalpur and then sends the audio. So children used to sit around the Gram Panchayat and study. And through that loudspeaker, through that Amcho Bastar radio, not just the children got educated, but also their parents got educated, because we started an initiative where people are taught English from Halbi, directly from the local language, they were taught English. And the result was such that even the vegetable vendors started talking about potatoes and onions in that language. So that kind of an initiative started taking. And best thing was Bastar being educationally so backward, it is there as one of the aspirational districts of the country. There, such kind of a education-oriented environments got set up. So I think that was a promising thing for us. As far as tourism goes, I just mentioned, and it's a proud moment for me to mention that one of our adventure girls, one of the daughters from Bastar, Naina Dhakar, just climbed Mount Everest, and she became the second person from Chhattisgarh and the first girl from Chhattisgarh to climb Mount Everest. And she has been basically training our local youth to start doing rappelling, rock climbing, adventure, all sorts of adventure sports in different areas of Bastar. Bastar is known for Chitrakoot waterfall. Some people also know it for Tirathgarh waterfall. But as such, Bastar, the unique topography that it has, there are hundreds of waterfalls here, especially in the rainy season where we are right now. So number of waterfalls are there, number of cliffs are there, which offer unique opportunities, unique rock faces for doing different kind of adventure activities. And Honorable CM has just announced an adventure sports academy, the first of its kind adventure sports academy in Chhattisgarh. We'll be proud to have that started in Bastar. So we are looking for a land and trying to develop that. And through this platform also, I would like to invite people who deal in this field, who have experience in this field, to come forward and maybe contact us, and we will want to reach out to them. Also, we are looking at tailored experience. We're not giving people one size fit all type of an approach that modern tourism has taken. We want to give a customized, tailor kind of an experience to people who are coming to Bastar. So in these times when going abroad, taking an international tour is not that feasible because of the pandemic. So right now, and also in our urban centers, finding a true natural forest setting is also next to impossible these days. So then people can easily, in a very less budget, can come here, stay in our tribal homestays, learn their language, learn their customs, stay with them, have a relaxed life, and then have a different experience altogether. Then they can do wellness practices, whether it's yoga, meditation, or they can take up adventure activities. And that kind of a trip will definitely be something which you will not get anywhere else. So it'll be a unique experience in itself. I would like to mention here that even I didn't know, before I came here as collector, even I didn't know that hundreds of foreign tourists used to come here on a regular basis, stay here with tribal families. And Bastar was second home to them. And now we are just making it more systematic. We have just got our Bastar maps, tourism maps launched. Also, we are doing a heritage map. So there will be heritage walks here because Jagdalpur is also a heart of 75-day Dussehra festival, which is one of the world's longest festival. So we are all highlighting all those things and then giving them to people in a more packaged, in a more systematic way, so that they are able to experience this unknown sort of a land, which somehow induces fear. And we wanted to induce excitement, to induce a sense of adventure, and to give them something new.
And I'm sure with these initiatives taking place, Bastar will definitely get a boost in terms of tourism and holistic development. Mr. Bansal, what has been your personal experience of using government resources for convergence and involvement of stakeholders on various missions? Like I mentioned in your introduction, you took one initiative called More Raipur, then Dhana Dhantari. You talked about Amcho Bastar. How will these initiatives improve the quality of life of people?
Arpit, Amcho Bastar is basically signifying that this Bastar is ours. So I firmly believe in this idea that government alone cannot develop a place or its people. Somehow we have to engage with the people, have to understand what they want, and have to engage them in the process of development. So you'll be happy to know that we have started an initiative called Yuvodaya. It's a one of its kind initiative. It's basically a volunteer program, but it's much more systematic and much more large in its scope. So this Yuvodaya initiative we have started with UNICEF, and we have more than 3,000 volunteers who are working day and night with us without any remuneration, without any external motivation. The only thing that they are getting is maybe some internal satisfaction because the kind of work that they are able to do. And with the help of UNICEF, we have identified a complete system. So they help us right now they are helping us in COVID vaccination. They have helped us in tackling malnutrition. They have helped us in tackling education when the COVID pandemic was in the peak. And even now, they are going home to home and trying to teach kids. Also, they are helping us organize sports activities, different sorts of activities, so that at the Gram Panchayat level, at the village level, the people are always connected with the government. As you can well understand, this area, since it has a background in left-wing extremism, and the only way that we can tackle left-wing extremism is to build the bridge between government and its people. And what better can build the bridge except the people themselves? So these young volunteers, and when we say young, we have our youngest volunteer is 90-year-old. So when we say young, we basically mean someone who wants to give, irrespective of the age. So Yuvodaya is a platform which we are giving them. And through that platform, we are also enriching the values and enriching the lives of these people by giving them better training. We want these people to then be the resource persons for the Gram Panchayat development. Even if not today, then 10 years later, 20 years later, these will be the pillars for the Gram Panchayat development. So I think when you talk about convergence of resources, the first and foremost resource that we have is the people themselves. Once they come together with the government, then the government machinery and the funds we have through maybe district mineral fund, through special central assistance, the different aspirational program funds that we get, then those funds can better be utilized and then be channelized. Because the biggest complaint that such backward areas, tribal areas face is that government plans and executes without even asking us what we want. So this is a way that we can do it better, and I think Yuvodaya has started giving a lot of good results. And we would love to do another program with you just to give you more brief about Yuvodaya, and we will want some of our Yuvodaya volunteers to speak to you.
When you are talking about Yuvodaya volunteers, so you mean they are young by heart, not by age. So my next question to you: they also helped you in tackling the COVID-19. So how did you actually manage the COVID-19 first wave and second wave in Bastar? And what is the status of Malaria Mukt Abhiyan in Bastar?
You're right. COVID-19, from the first wave itself, Bastar, with God's grace, has been fairly doing very well in all the two waves that we have seen so far. It's the result of better management, definitely, but also a result of public participation and futuristic planning. In the first wave itself, we had created enough infrastructure in terms of beds, in terms of human resources, that we can tackle second or third wave. So when the second wave came and hit us right in the face and hit us really hard, so we already had the infrastructure. So what we did was only to lock down at the right time for the right period and engage in a better public participation methodology so that people are able to get conveyed what the government wants from them. So also in vaccination, in the beginning, we saw that there were a lot of rumors which were there, a lot of misconceptions were there about the vaccine. These Yuvodaya volunteers went door to door, brought out people, and really helped us a lot to achieve the vaccination figures that we have today. Also, we saw a lot of different organizations, non-profit organizations, non-government organizations coming forward and helping the poor. I think that is also an important part because this is a challenge that we tackle as a society and not as government and different individuals together. So once we come together as a society, come together as a team, this is a challenge which easily mends itself and gives way. So I think the way we tackle is through better public participation. And one thing, a very interesting thing you would be surprised to know, when we were talking about lockdown, you've seen videos of policemen going around, trying to persuade people to follow the rules. In our Gram Panchayats, people were so aware about this disease that all our Gram Panchayats did whatever they could do to seal their own borders. And they themselves posted a few people from the village to guard those borders 24/7. So what that basically helped us to make sure that people from outside don't get into the Gram Panchayat or the village and spread the virus. That helped us to take up different employment generation activities through NREGA, through Vandhan. And actually, if you'll see the figures, during the first wave, during the second wave, while all these sorts of employment generation activities were on the low in different parts of the country, Chhattisgarh and especially Bastar was actually doing better in terms of employment generation through NREGA and through Vandhan, MFP production. So that is the kind of awareness that the people have, and that's why we could do such an employment generation activity. And there was absolutely no case where people are dying of hunger, people are dying of starvation, because as you know, tribal population, tribal people are anyways close to nature. They have a sustainable lifestyle which is very much linked to nature. So all these things helped us tackling COVID better without making it an economic massacre or an economic sort of emergency of sorts.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. When you are talking about the employment generation and the jobs during time of pandemic, so my next question to you is, employment and livelihood are most crucial elements of development of any state, any district, any place, any habitation. So how are you encouraging youth, women, and other people of Bastar for skill development and engaging them into job-oriented programs of government?
It's a very good question. Skill development is something that we are very aggressive on, especially in these times of pandemic and even otherwise. We are looking at a more sustainable and environment-friendly industrialization of this area also. Also skill development in a way so that people do not have to go out. So the out migration is less. During the first wave of COVID, we found out that a lot of people had gone to places like Goa, Hyderabad, different states of India, just for menial jobs which could have easily been given in Bastar and the surrounding areas. So we are looking at skill development in a big way. Also, we are engaging different corporate sector entities to better impart the more trained skills like JCB operators, like plumbers and all. So that is one. Also, we are looking at startups also in a big way. So I would like to talk about an initiative called ThinkBee, Technological Hub for Innovation and Knowledge. It's basically a fancy name for an incubation center that we are starting up in Bastar. So right now, you know that we have heard about a lot of good incubation centers which have happened at state level. Even Chhattisgarh has a very good incubation center at Raipur. But the reason why we want it in Bastar is because a lot of well-educated people from Bastar, and when I say Bastar, all the 7 districts of Bastar, do not get opportunities in this area. So they have to go out seeking high-skilled employment in different metro cities, even abroad. So when we are looking at a startup center here, we will be attracting different venture funds. We'll be attracting different bodies, different corporate bodies, all sorts of commercial conglomerations also, so that our people here get better facilitated for startups, and they are able to create high value jobs sitting right here in Jagdalpur, right here in Bastar. Because as you said, Bastar has a lot of natural resources. It is rich in a lot of resources, whether it's the different minerals, or if we talk about different minor forest produces, if you talk about different other raw materials for food products. So there's a lot of scope here which can better be utilized with incubation of different types of technologies. So that kind of an employment, that kind of a skill generation is something which we are looking at, so that when we talk about the employment generation in Bastar, we are not just limited to the manual labor, the unskilled labor of Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi Rozgar Guarantee Scheme, or MFP collection. We should also be able to collect that MFP, process it here, brand it here, and then market it. So some initiatives which I would like to talk to you about is Bastar Papita. So some very good papaya plantations have come up in areas which are known for left-wing extremism kind of activities. Darbha, you would have heard about the name of it's one of the most backward regions of Bastar district. There, a group of female entrepreneurs and farmers have come together. They have used technologies from Israel, Australia, US. All sorts of technologies have been used, made by startups of Bastar. And then they have grown a number of papaya plantation, and that will earn them more than ₹1 crore in 3 years. So that kind of a scaled up initiative we are looking at. Also, in the same way, we have started Bastar Coffee. So as you know, Araku Valley is just near Bastar, and it's in the state of Telangana. And then there they have their own brand of coffee. We believe that we also have similar climatic conditions. We have also got a coffee board certification, and we are also starting coffee plantations, which can then generate employment, a different kind of a high-skilled employment for our farmers in the Bastar area. And that is going to be a brand in itself. So this is a kind of partnership that we are looking for. And even through your platform, I would like to invite the people who are watching this video, whoever deals in this product or has experience in this field, to please reach out to us and help us grow these brands and help us work together and give better skilled employment to these people of Bastar.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. My next question to you is, what is the Think Bee concept, which is unique in nature? How will it inculcate entrepreneurship skills among youths of Bastar? How are your plans actually shaping up?
Arpit, Think Bee basically is an acronym for Technological Hub for Innovation and Knowledge. So basically, we are looking for an incubation center for startups and high value startups, which will be rich in their technological input, rich in the kind of usage that they have for the natural resources that we and this land of Bastar has. So we are looking to promote these startups, especially from the students or ex-students from the colleges and higher educational institutions of this entire Bastar area. And these startups will help us create high value jobs for the people in Bastar. In the last few months, we have done an exclusive survey of all the so-called non-resident Bastariyas, people from Bastar area who have gone to different metro cities and different countries also. And we have found out that a lot of people have huge amount of skill, but they're not able to channelize that in Bastar because of lack of resources, lack of know-how, lack of government support. So keeping this problem statement in mind, we have created this incubation center. And through this platform that ET has today provided us, I would like to encourage more people to come forward and use the platform so that we are able to help you in terms of technological know-how, certification, in terms of venture capital availability, and different other methodologies, so that Think Bee can help us shape your dreams, and in the process you're able to generate high value employment in Bastar. Initiatives like Bastar Kaju is also something that we are promoting in a big way. As you know, Bastar has a lot of areas where people have started replacing the traditional paddy cultivation to kaju cultivation, cashew plantations, and a lot of government land is also used for this. It helps us protect the environment, it helps us create more green cover, and it also gives a ready-made livelihood to the self-help groups. And the processing of kaju is something that we are doing in a big way in Bastar. So we want different startups to be incubated with us, who can help us take this processing forward, who can help us find better market linkage, and not just help themselves in the process, but help so many people who are there doing this cashew plantation.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. When you are talking about local products, local employment, so Chhattisgarh government is also planning to open some C stores to promote local products, handicrafts, art and craft products. So is there any plans in Bastar also to promote such kind of initiatives?
Definitely. Bastar has 19 villages. In those 19 villages, the main livelihood for the people is to create different kinds of handicrafts. So the terracotta work of Bastar, the dokra work, the dokra metal work that the people do, the iron work that they do, the wood craftsmanship that the people have here, the bamboo craftsmanship. These are some things which are unique to this area. The challenge for our administration, the challenge for these people who are working in these things are that they are not able to supply them in bulk and market them to the international market. So that is something where we are actively looking for partnerships. We have created an artisan producer organization at our level, which will join the efforts of all these people in 19 villages together, give them a better platform to stock inventory, to calibrate the promotion, and then promote them, market them, and give them a better market access. Right now, not so much right now, but maybe in the last few years, these artisans were forced to sell their handicrafts in terms of kilos, in terms of weight measurement. So we don't want that. We want these high valued the entities to be sold at a premium price, which they well deserve. If these reach the market of say London or say Barcelona, these will be given highly premium prices. So we want to do that market linkage, the forward linkage, and also to facilitate the backward linkage. We have created this APO, which will help us take these things forward. And TriFed, I'm very happy to share the Government of India bodies collaborating with us. It is helping us do these things and giving our artisans, the tribal artisans, a better market so that we can reach the international world at a best level.
I'm sure, Mr. Bansal, with the public-private participation, and definitely if you partner with e-commerce giants like Flipkart, Amazon, these artisans will definitely get global market and better prices for their products. My next question to you is, you have an outstanding record of successfully running administration in different positions using IT-enabled services for providing good governance to the public. We have also seen you mostly encourage no-cost and low-cost innovations, and you had organized Garbage Fest in Raipur. Any interesting instance that you want to share as part of your past assignments?
Thank you for your kind words, Arpit. In Bastar, we have seen that there is a huge gap which is linguistic. So a lot of our tribal population speaks Halbi, Gondi. They don't even know how to speak Hindi. So it's very difficult for them to, give applications which can be then processed in the government system. So they are left out. They feel left out from the government system, and hence the gap between the government and the people. So to bridge that gap, we have created a technological platform called Guhar. And that is basically a grievance redressal platform through which people can voice their grievances in whatever language they want, in whatever they are comfortable with, even if they're not comfortable in writing, even if they are not that well versed with writing, they can just record it and send it to us. Then our team then processes it, translates it, identifies the department it is concerned, and then gives them into the system so that the grievance can be redressed. I think once we do that, then there is some kind of a belief in the people that government is there. It will listen to them no matter in what language they speak, no matter how they are able to convey their message. And I think it will help us build a bridge between the government and the people. So this Guhar app and this entire technological platform has been started a few months back, and it is giving good results. It is doing that confidence building amongst people. Also, we are very hopeful that through ThinkBee, the incubation center that we are starting, a lot of good new technological based ideas will come forward. As I mentioned, Bastar Papita, Bastar Kaju, Bastar Coffee, we are already using a lot of technological initiatives done by different institutions, different individual startups, and trying to bring products together which will be available to the world. Apart from that, this ThinkBee will also give a huge platform to the young entrepreneurs, to the low cost technologies providers to do something good in Bastar.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. We are heading towards the end of the conversation. So my next question to you is around technology. So when you are talking about leveraging cutting edge technology, e-governance, m-governance initiatives, what is the status of connectivity in Bastar, and how are you planning to improve it? Because Bastar has been known for low connectivity, less connectivity, and since it is LWE affected area, so there has been a lot of challenges for telecom service providers as well.
That's a very good question, Arpit. Through this platform, I would like to assure everyone that Bastar is completely safe as far as physical safety goes. We are right now connected through road. There's very good road connectivity from Visakhapatnam, from Hyderabad, from Raipur. Also, there is flight connectivity, direct flight connectivity from Hyderabad and Raipur. Also, there is good train connectivity from Visakhapatnam. So in terms of connectivity, there has been a lot of development in the past few years. The airlines is fairly new. It has just come up less than 1 year back. Also, in terms of telephone and mobile connectivity, more than 90% of the Bastar district has good mobile network available. Sometimes it so happens that one particular provider is not there, but the other is there. So, but 90% of the district has that. And in terms of physical security, I would like to repeat that there's no concern as of now. And it's highly safe. And we would like to encourage different corporates, different people, different startup oriented people who want to do something new, who want to make use of this area to build something new, to come forward. And the district administration will provide all the support that it can.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. Going forward, what are your priorities for holistic development of Bastar?
I think in one line, if we have to summarize, that Bastar has to be known for the rich tribal heritage and the cultural value that it holds, and not to be known by anything else. So that is our one big motto that we are looking forward to. And we are very sure that under the state's leadership, we'll be able to achieve that.
Thank you, Mr. Rajat Bansal. It was really a great interaction with you. Our sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and making today's show wonderful. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Arpit.
For the audience, the Digitech Dialogue series is an initiative of ET Government, the Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officials give an insight of digital innovations and use of new technologies by their department or the ministry. Each week, we present a new guest and discuss the digital transformation journey and the future roadmap for digital India. Thank you so much.